Hmm. Так. പറയല. Так, ходам на кряпте. Отлично. Start camera. Xo'p, hammaga assalomu alaykum. Tak, bolalar. Alex menimcha.
Alo, yaxshimisiz, tuzukmisiz?
Assalomu alaykum.
Mening ism Boroda.
How are you, my friend? How
I'm
are
doing
you doing?
good. What about you?
I've been definitely better, but I'm doing better. That's what's important. I'm doing better than yesterday. That is important.
Are you doing better or feeling better or both?
Doing and feeling better, like both. Better than
That's
yesterday.
That's good. That's how it should be. Did something happen yesterday? Also, why does it say magic behind you?
Why does it what?
It says magic behind you. Why?
I have no idea. Probably somebody else has set up.
That's amazing. It's kind of symbolic, you know, when you move away, only magic is left in your wake.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. I write poetry every day.
Beautiful words by beautiful person. Beautiful. Okay, so how are you doing yourself, brother? You in Tashkent or in Chamarkand?
I'm doing good. I'm in Tashkent right now. Yesterday, I actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this live right now. I was in a taxi and there was a song and it reminded me of you. I want to play it. 1 second. I'm gonna play it.
What is?
So I don't really want to spoil it, unfortunately, but I'm gonna tell you the name. The name is called
I'm
Kaifui
calling you.
Buhara.
I'm calling you. No, is that the one?
No, it's not that one. It's called Kaifui Buhara. Here it is. I'm gonna play it right now.
Yeah, play. Go ahead. No. Stop. I hate.
I don't know why, but when I heard it, I realized that like if we were together, we should always listen to the song at least one time.
Come on. No, when we're together, man, we need to enjoy each other's company. That's what I really love to do, honestly. Like the last time we did it, you actually ruined the ending by getting me to watch the penalty shootout between
That
Uzbekistan
was
and
so sad.
that was devastating, actually. Yeah. I was going through some of our messages between you and me, and I think I sent you that screenshot where I predicted Uzbekistan's loss. I don't want to say that I was the reason. It's just like I knew it was going to happen.
Part of the movement. You were part of the cause.
Come on, brother. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I'm not
So
sure where it is.
I have a question. Are you going to be streaming the reading passage, and I'm going to read from your live stream, or will I be streaming it, or what's the plan?
I'm not that stupid, man. Come on, I will definitely have it off to you. You will do it
Okay.
yourself. Okay?
Okay.
Come on, man. Come on. Who are you taking me for?
I want to know the strategy. You know, I haven't been here all these days. I'm sorry.
Okay, how is your mom, your girlfriend, your sister? How is
I don't
everybody?
know why. I don't know. I'm sorry. I love the way like we're talking about something and then you just cut away. You're like, by the way, so how is your mom? Everyone is doing well. Don't worry. Family is fine. Everything's good. Life is moving forward. So that's it. What about you? How is your family doing?
Same, same old. So we actually sent our mom to Umrah, so like a pilgrimage.
Yep.
Yeah, doing that.
Ozadek is also going to Umrah. Maybe they'll meet there, and your mom will become a professional English speaker.
Hopefully. Well, actually, she asked me to talk to the receptionist, and the problem is that the receptionist didn't know English. She could
Oh wow.
barely connect to words. I told her that the pipes in the sink are blocked, and she was like, "Pipes? What is pipes?" She didn't even say that. She actually meant, you could get it from her facial expression. She was like, what? I was like, how do you even hire people like that? Like, no offense, but I mean, there are people from like all over the world coming to Umrah, and I think everybody expects that. Like, Alex, are you here?
Oh yeah, I'm here. I'm hearing you. I think my video was turned off. Yeah, it's fine. One sec. Wait. Yeah, it should be back. Can you hear me?
Uh-huh. Okay, the last 2 days, what we did, like I asked some of my, not some, but our viewers live, that I asked them what passage they want my guests to do. And
What passage?
yeah, like passage 1, 2, or 3. And the guys yesterday chose 3, and I figured out that it was, I think, a little bit difficult for them. So I'm going to go for passage 2, something like more laid back, but at the same time quite valuable, I hope. So let's go. You okay with that?
Sure, let's do it. I mean,
Let's go.
yeah, I'm perfectly fine. Nothing. I'm not really bothered by anything. But just keep in mind that passage 1 and 2 will be easier. So I mean, I could help you guys with the more difficult passage. But if your experience says we should do an easier one, I'm ready. Send it to me and let's get going.
1 second.
From now on,
Okay.
I'm always gonna say Barchega Salom.
Okay, 1 second. I need to figure out which passage to send you. I will first ask you if you done the passage. If you haven't, then we'll move on.
I have not done the majority of passages. The only passages I did are Cambridge reading. I think I did like Cambridge 18 and 17, and then maybe one from 16, and that's it.
That's it. Okay. Let me see, brother. बहुत خل. 1 second. Which one is more suitable for you? Should I keep it PDF or should I convert it into a Word file?
I think make it into a Word file. I think that'd be a better idea.
I hope you wouldn't say that, but okay.
I don't like PDFs. PDFs are for boomers. And also, my program that I use with PDFs, it's a little bit archaic. I don't think it's a good program. So because of that, we will do Word. I think that would be better.
I'm not sure if this one is good because I haven't done this before.
You're right now. You're gonna send me like some Chinese passage from
No,
from a Chinese leak.
Pre-test stuff, actually. That's what I'm saying. It's pre-test. I think you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I'll be back. 1 second. I'm right here.
Okay. I already sent the passage. You can take a
Yep,
look.
I see it. You know, I wanna share. I think it would be the funniest thing ever if at some point, because I don't think there is IELTS in China. You know, I think that China is kind of blocked off from every other country. Imagine if one day they have IELTS in China and we have famous Chinese IELTS instructors. Imagine how funny that would be.
Like Alex, you always like say some a random stuff, and
Listen.
I
Just
sometimes
theoretically,
don't even know
imagine
how to respond, how to react.
how, how long do you take for Chinese people to get 9999? What do you think, honestly? Because I think it would take them like 2 weeks maximum. Are
Um,
you contacting your
I
Chinese
think
friends?
I sent you the Word file. I was sending it to you.
I see it.
Um,
I see it.
I think it might take them a little bit longer than like a little longer than it took Jackie Chan. So it should be around like 25, 26 years maybe.
That's fair. Yeah, that's also
Because
a possibility, I guess.
I've heard him talk and it was funny. I wasn't expecting him to have such a strong accent in like it was wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jackie Chan, he isn't really known for his English. You know, he's just going like the nuts. He knows the language of the fist, which is more important.
Do
Okay.
you see the passage? Is it okay for you, man?
Yep, I see it. Do you guys see it? Can you see my screen?
I will ask them. Screen. Alex screen, is it visible? I will switch off my camera to make sure that it's not interfering with the connection. I'm sure it's going to slow it down. Okay, so I'll switch it off. You will be completely on your own in terms of like talking to audience, but I will be taking notes. So whatever you
Okay,
say, if there is like something important, I think we'll get it immediately.
okay,
I will
that's the
immediately write.
deal.
Okay.
Okay. Also, I'm while you're gone, I'm gonna advertise all of my courses for about 20 minutes. So just write down information about that as well. Okay, make sure to
How,
write that down.
how do I block people? Can anybody tell me? Okay.
All right. So, yeah, let's get it going. Let's get it going. Yeah. I also think maybe it's a good idea. If you can see my screen well, I think you can just take some screenshots of what I'm doing and then post it into the channel so that people can see it. I think maybe that
I
would
mean,
be good.
I will send the passage itself.
Oh, okay. Deal.
Yeah.
Deal.
Then also screenshots. Yeah, little
Okay.
bit.
Are we gonna time this? This is probably gonna take me around 15 to 20 minutes.
No,
I'm
but
gonna
you will
try
need
to
to
explain.
explain everything. It's not going to be
Yeah,
that
I'm gonna
easy.
need to explain everything, so it might take a little bit longer. That's what I'm gonna say. So I'm gonna go through everything, try to give all the details. Yeah. So we have that time, right? We're fine on that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fine by me. It's fine by I'm hope by the audience right now. Give me a few seconds. I will take a few screenshots. Send it to the group, to the channel, and then we can give it a go. Okay. I will switch off my camera now, and yeah, 1 second. It's it must be off.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's off.
Yeah. Yeah. Bismillah. Let me open the passage itself. I hope this is going to be okay and it's not some kind of like super crazy reading passage that you won't be able to do because it sometimes happens. We both know that because it's like pre-test stuff. I think you understand it, yeah. And often in pre-test,
Do you?
we
We don't have the answers, by the way, right?
I have.
Oh, cool. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then let's get right into it. Yeah, and of course, just for everybody, you are correct indeed. Reading passages vary in difficulty. I remember one time I was doing a passage from the official Cambridge Guide to IELTS, and I could not find the correct answer for like an hour. It was one passage that I was doing, and I was so dismotivated. This was about like 2 or 3 weeks before I got overall 9. So reading passages, they are not all made equal. Some are much more difficult than others, and it significantly varies depending on whether or not the topic is comfortable for you, and also depending on how academic it is. And this can change depending on like each part three. Not just part one is more easy, part two is in the middle, part three is difficult. Sometimes part three passages can be very easy, and part one passages can be very difficult. It really depends on a lot of stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, my first tip, and it might seem not important, but it really is. This thing right here, this is my savior. I have difficulty thinking quickly, and I think everybody does at some points, especially when you just woke up. Like if you're taking the test in the morning, I cannot stress enough the advantage of drinking coffee. Coffee literally makes sure, and something else very important is sugar. if you don't have enough sugar in your blood, it is more difficult to make decisions. This is a very interesting phenomena that was researched. I don't remember what field it was, but it's also very important for competitive video games. If you're playing like a shooter game, sugar can actually help you to make better decisions. It's called decision fatigue. You can write that down, Jahangir, do some research about it, and we can talk about it after. It's a very interesting topic. So my first tip, it's not even connected to the reading. Make sure that you are in the right state in order to have a good, easy passage. Now, here's the first thing that I do. I read the title and the subtitle. I love doing this because it gives me a very clear background. Viking Ireland. A recent excavation in Dublin is the capital of Ireland, challenges long-held ideas about when the Scandinavian raiders known as Vikings arrived in Ireland. Just this title alone, and this right here, gives me a lot of information about what this passage is about. Everything is very clear. Ireland is not one of the countries that people generally think about when you talk about Vikings. Vikings are in Norway. Vikings are, I think, in Sweden a little bit, and also possibly Denmark. The Scandinavian countries, that's right here, Scandinavia. So clearly this passage is going to be about Ireland and how Vikings got there. Now here's the second step that I always do. I go to the questions. Immediately we can see we have matching headings, which is quite difficult. And then we have matching. So this matching is connected to experts and then what they say about specific things. So for example, who said this, who said this, who said this, who said this. And then lastly, we have gap filling. So we have 3 questions, 1 word only. What? 3 questions? 26. And this is 28. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 questions. 5 questions. Let me correct this real quick. 26 to 28. Okay, so this reading passage has 3 question types. What I always do before I begin the reading is I look through all of the question types. Not the questions, but the question types. Because this tells me what kind of information I'm going to go for. For example, with this question type, mainly what we're going to do is we're going to look for these names, and then we're going to try to figure out who did what. This question type is quite easy when you know how to do it correctly. And this question type is also very easy because it's just figuring out the right words. In addition, this says 1 word only, which makes it even more easy because we're only looking for 1 word at a time. So these 2 are done. We will begin with this one, then this one, and then finally we will do matching headings at the very end. That's how I always do passages. That's how I always do passages with different question types. I begin with the easier questions first and then the harder questions later, so that if I am running out of time, if I don't have any time, it's easier for me to do all of the easy questions. If
so which
I begin
one? Sorry for cutting you off. Which one?
The gap filling is the easiest
Good.
one. This is the one I'll begin with because it's just 1 word. This one takes a time because you have to find all of the names, but otherwise it's very easy to do. And then finally, matching headings is usually the most difficult one. I will always do this one at the end. The main idea is this. If you begin doing the passage with all of the difficult questions, you will not have time to do the easy questions. So you will feel more stressed. It's better to get all of the easy questions correct before you actually do the difficult questions. In my opinion, some people do it differently. Okay, let's begin with reading. I usually don't read anything apart from the first paragraph. The first paragraph is the only one that I read completely. So let's read. You guys can read by yourselves. You can turn off the sound on your phone. I'm going to read out loud, so if you want to listen, you can also listen to me reading. When Irish archaeologists working under Dublin's South Great George's Street unearthed the remains of 4 young men buried with fragments of Viking shields, daggers, and personal ornaments, the excavation appeared to be simply more evidence of the Viking presence in Ireland. At least 77 Viking burial sites have been found across the basis of artifacts that accompanied them. And the South Great George's Street burials seemed to be further examples. Yet, when archaeologist Lindsay Simpson, so we already know that we're looking for specific names, I'm going to make this bold. When archaeologist Lindsay Simpson sent the remains for analysis, the tests showed that men had been buried in Irish soil years or even decades before the accepted date for the establishment of the first year-round Viking settlements in Dublin. Perfect. Here we go. So that's our first passage. This passage is going to be talking about long-held ideas. This means they had some kind of research, like Vikings came to Ireland in 2000, but then they found research that they came in 1900. Of course, those years are incorrect. I'm just saying that they found information that contradicts their previous opinion. It says the other idea, opposite. Okay.
But Alex,
Yes.
can you zoom in a little bit? I
Yeah,
would really
deal.
appreciate it. I'm just, it's for myself.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you can't see it, other people probably have some trouble as well. Okay, there we go. So first passage done. First paragraph done. We read through it. We went through everything. I am curious. I want to check the word Lindsay Simpson. Maybe we already have an answer. Vikings were aware of the financial benefits staying in Ireland, etc. I don't know. We will do this last, but we did underline Lindsay Simpson. Here's what we're going to do. The fourth Viking of South Great George's Street. So whenever you're doing a reading passage, this is a very, very important detail. I don't like to do reading. As you noticed, the only thing I did was I read the first paragraph. I will try my best to not read anything else. Reading is called reading, but in reality, if you are reading the passages, you are wasting time. You don't have to read the words. The only thing you have to do is you have to find the correct answers. It's kind of like a puzzle. You have to fit all of the things together and find all of the correct answers in the correct places. Reading is not a part of that. Mostly we'll be using skinning and scanning in order to find, skimming, not scanning, in order to find the correct places. So here we go. Here's how I find the correct place. The fourth Viking of South Great George's Street. So we already saw the word South Great George's Street. This is the name of the street. Now we need to find the fourth Viking. Who is the fourth Viking? Let's see. The remains of the fourth Viking were excavated in South Great George's Street. It became clear male who was tall by something of that time. I guess standards. Most likely this word is going to be standards because grammatically we usually say who was tall by the standards of that time. Most likely not, but it could be. Okay, let's take a look. Are now adding new weight to an idea, growing an end instead of sudden. Right now, I'm looking for this word right here. For your information, I'm looking for the word fourth right here. The fourth Viking of South Great. Oh my lord, the fourth Viking. This is what I'm looking for. I'm gonna highlight it in. What's a good color? Let's make it yellow. Okay, so this is the word I'm looking for. Fourth Viking. Fourth Viking. So let's go back. Contemporary texts, monks isolated, especially scholars considering first contact. Although, once again, we have the name Simpson. Challenges, chronology, Fishamble, Vikings. Once again, just to be clear, I'm looking for the word fourth. That's all I'm doing. This will take some time. Carbon dating usually gives South Great Georgia Street. Okay, we found another one. And here we go. Here is our word right here. In the case of the four individuals. So we found the first mention of the fourth person. So now I'm going to try my best to find within this paragraph the correct mention of the fourth Viking. I'm going to see if this is the correct place. Oh no, here we go. So this is about the four individuals. This is about the fourth individual. So this is where the answer is going to be. So now I found the paragraph. It is paragraph E. I'm going to, let's see. I don't think I can, right? Let's check, maybe. No, I cannot. Okay. So this is where we are. I'm going to mark it red. So this is where we find our answers. Remember, gap filling questions, true, false, not given questions, with all those question types, the answers will be in the same order. So first you have to find the first place, then the second place, etc., etc., etc. So let's check it out. Here's the first place. When the remains of the fourth Viking were excavated, it became clear they were of a male who was tall by something of that time. Due to strenuous activity, his something as well as his arms were well developed. So this is the next thing that we're going to look for. I'm also going to mark it. Something and his arms. That's what we're looking for. They're going to talk about two things. This is another thing that I really like about IELTS reading. very often you will have this structure. His something as well as his arms. Basically, this means this plus this. This is literally a compound. I think it's either going to be a subject or an object. Basically, this is the two words where one of them will be paraphrased and one of them will be the answer. So all we have to do is we have to find the synonym for the word arms, and then it should have something and arms. It's very easy to spot. So let's go tall by the standard of that time and his arms. Here's the answer. Okay. A powerfully built man in his late teens or early 20s. He was approximately 170 tall, so now we found the place for the answer, by the day's standards. Ladies and gentlemen, would you look at that? Standards. We know that standards is going to be the answer. When I find each answer, I will highlight it in purple. Purple is where we find the correct answer. Standards is the correct answer. Immediately, I will put it into the answer. Who was tall by standards of that time. Perfect. Let's move on. Next question is going to be about his something as well as his arms, and it's going to be well developed. With the muscular torso and upper limbs. Perfect. There we go. Here's the next answer immediately. Upper limbs is about arms right there, and muscular torso. So I think most likely the word torso is going to be the answer. I'm not completely sure, but to me this seems very clear. With the muscular torso and upper limbs. So let's check that real quick. I'm going to copy this. Muscular torso and upper limbs. His something as well as his arms were well developed. So I think most likely this is going to be torso. To me, this seems very clearly like the word torso. On the real test, what I would do is this. If I'm not sure and I don't want to spend too much time on one question, I will write this down and then I will leave a tick. Let's do this. Tick. Symbol. I don't have here we go. Okay, so this means that I will come back and I will check if this is correct. To me, this is almost 100% correct, but because I didn't check completely, I will come back to this. Let's move on. Several of his bones indicated stresses. Bones indicated stresses. This is how we're going to find the answer. Bones indicated stresses that would have dated from his something. Dated from his something. So most likely, this is like something that he does, I guess, or maybe dated from his something means dated from a part of his body. So dated doesn't mean going on a date. It's not about relationships. Would have dated from means they found this information by looking at bones. So they indicate stresses. So let's check. That would have come from hard ocean-going rowing. So this already seems to be something connected to that topic. Let's continue. His bones showed streets. I think this is probably a mistake. It should be stress. Showed stress associated with heavy lifting beginning in childhood. Okay, so immediately we know that this is where the answer would be. I'm going to move this away. So the answer is going to be in the next sentence. I'm not looking for the answers immediately. I'm looking for the things that can connect the passage, the text that we're looking at right now, the connections between this and the questions. That's what I'm looking at right now. His bones showed stress associated with heavy lifting beginning in childhood. Unlike the three other men, he was not buried with weapons. Like one of the other men found, he has a congenital deformity at the base of his spine, perhaps indicating they were relatives. Okay. I think we went a little bit too far. It's probably something here because we already have heavy lifting beginning in childhood. This often happens. Sometimes the answer will be a little bit before the keyword, a little bit after the keyword. And I'm not sure where it is, so I'm going to go back to the questions and check. Due to strenuous activity, his torso as well as arms were well developed, but several of his bones indicated stresses that would have dated from his something. Okay. He also has genetic abnormality in his lower something. Okay, genetic abnormality is the next thing that we're looking for in his lower something. So we need to find the word lower, or maybe like bottom part, something like that. So this is how we will find the answer. Okay, in his lower something. His burial differed from that of the other three Vikings discovered at the site, as no something were included. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. Site. Jahangir, I have a question. Did you write this yourself? There are grammar mistakes.
Oh,
Or sorry, not grammar, but spelling.
what else? What
Or
else?
what?
What do you mean? Sorry, what do you mean?
This said discovered at the sty instead of site.
No, I mean I usually have like special software that on Google
Yeah.
converted.
Text. Sorry. PDF to text. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That happens.
PDF converters, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. In any case, most of these mistakes are not significant. So even if you find a reading mistake on your real test, it will not affect anything. Okay. Several of his bones indicated stresses that would have dated from his something. He also had a genetic abnormality in his lower something. Let's look at the text again. Unlike the three other men, he was not buried with weapons. Okay, so here we go. This is the most likely either the answer or where the answer is. If I don't know, if I think that's the answer, I will make it, let's make it gray. Okay, he has a congenial deformity at the base of his spine. Perfect. Base of is bottom. Base is synonym, exact synonym. Not exact synonym, but very close, at the base of. So this is going to be similar to basically lower, at the base of his spine. Okay, congenial deformity or spine. Let's check. In his lower something. So congenial deformity is the same as genetic abnormality. Congenial deformity. I'm going to make this blue. And this is going to be spine. So the answer to this question is spine, 27. As you can see, I actually skipped question 26 because it's taking me too much time. I have to think about it too much. So if you're ever in a situation where you are not 100% sure, move on to the next question because it'll help you find the previous one. And also we found the answer to the last question. His burial differed from that of the other three Vikings as no something were included. That something, as we know, is weapons. There were no weapons buried with him, so the answer for that question is weapons. So let's go back to the text. Bones indicate stress that would have dated from his something. So let's find what that something was. Why did he have stress? Stress associated with heavy lifting. So I guess most likely the answer is going to be lifting, the answer to that question. Weapons, we know, is the correct answer. I'm going to mark that. And lifting is also the correct answer. We'll mark that. Okay. Lifting is also it's also possible rowing, but most likely it's because stress associated with heavy lifting, and there it's also saying stress associated. Okay. Make sure to look at the sentences very clearly. Like, where do you find each word? In which sentence is it? Sentences are a very good indicator of where the answer will be. If it's in the same sentence, it's very realistic that that will be the answer. From his lifting. His lifting doesn't sound very good. I'm not sure. I don't know. Always check if what you write sounds good by itself. So that would have dated from his lifting does not sound good to me. Let's check once again. Stress associated with heavy lifting beginning in childhood. Oh, okay. Associated with his childhood. I think most likely the answer is childhood because his lifting does not sound good. So there will be like, remember that reading is not a perfect process. It's impossible to read one time and immediately get the correct answer. You always have to go back and forth in order to the right place. This is much easier on the paper or computer test because on the computer test, what they do is you have half of your screen for the reading and the other half for the questions. I just realized, give me a second. I think we can actually do that. Give me a moment. My brain has just activated. Has no weapons. Okay. Dating from his childhood. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this part of the text.
Stop. Let me give you a little piece of advice.
Yeah, what's up?
Alex, are you okay with Alt Tab? Do you know how Alt Tab works?
It's not called Alt Tab. It's called Windows Left. Of course, I know how it works.
Can you just screenshot all the questions?
Brother.
You can post it on your Save It, or you can DM me all of those, the screenshots of the questions, and then it
Brother,
will be easier for you to navigate. You will
I
just
got
press
it.
up and go through one question to another. It's
Let me
going
show
to
you. I have secret technology that you have never seen in your life. Look at
yeah,
that.
because
Is
I'm
that
afraid it's going
amazing?
to just look very small.
Okay. Oh, you mean this? Is this too small?
Yeah,
Okay, that's a good point. Okay.
you can zoom in. Try and zoom in on the left and the right. It might help a little, so that it doesn't interfere with your passage. Okay,
See
okay,
that?
yeah,
Like this? Is
this is
this
much
readable?
better.
Is
Yeah, this
it?
is yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's do it like that then. The only problem is now. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I hope it'll be fine. Anyway, let's continue. Okay. Yeah, so that's it. This question type is finished. To me, it seems much easier to do questions like that because it's, like you finish one question type and then your brain is empty. Your brain is free. You don't have to continue thinking about that question type. So now we finished this question type and it's done completely. I have all my answers. If I wanted to, I could delete this. I don't even need to look at this anymore. So this is finished. Now let's move on to the next question type. We have list of experts: Lindsay Simpson, Gareth Williams, Ruth Johnson. So for this question type, there is a much more important skill. It's the same one we did before, but you have to do it much more effectively. It's skimming and scanning. So the way it works is like this: you will read the text from the bottom up. I know it sounds stupid, but it's like a little magical technique. If you are reading backwards and up, so usually you read like this, right? From left to right, from up to down, like this. But now you will read the other way. So you'll read from the bottom and up, like that. So what this does is, instead of using your brain to read, you are only using your brain to find the words. So I'm going to go through this whole text and I'm going to try my best to underline the names: Williams, Gareth, Simpson, Lindsay, Johnson, Ruth. That's it. That's all I'm doing. So let's begin. Here we go. Williams. We found the name Williams immediately. And you know what? I'm going to make their names, let's make them poop color. Here we go. Color of poop. There we go. Poop color names. You like the poop color?
I told you, I always say stuff that I don't know how to respond to.
Listen, that's my secret sauce. That's how I do it. You always got to be unpredictable, you know? Every other streamer, they say things that are predictable, you know? Hello guys, today we will do reading. That's boring. Okay, I'm going to say, "Hey guys, today we're going to not read at all. We're not going to read anything. We're going to read from the bottom up." Okay? You have to be unpredictable. Okay, here we go. Let's continue. Williams, Simpson, Johnson, Simpson. This passage has names of all three, which means that this passage is going to be terrible, but that's okay. Not this passage, this paragraph. Let's move on to the next one. Georgia Street, Isotopic, Scandinavia, Scotland, no names. Booga Booga Booga, no names. Dates, Simpson. Here we go. Finally, we found Simpson. When I see the name Simpson, I just think about Homer. I think about, let me. This is who I think about when I see the name Simpson. So I'm just imagining that guy is here in the passage with us, and he is just like researching all the information. Every time I read it, it makes me laugh, and I don't like that. That's not good. Okay. Most likely range, individual. Again, we find the name Simpson, unfortunately. Here we go. Simpson, radioactive, Simpson, Ruth Johnson. This is Ruth Johnson. Only once so far we have found the name Ruth Johnson. Actually, also at the bottom we found it 2 times. We have found the name Ruth Johnson. Usually in these kinds of passages, you will have not a lot of each. You will have like a lot of one person or maybe of two people, but then everyone else you will not hear about them a lot. So for example, in this case, Johnson, I cannot find that much about him. Williams and Simpson are more prolific though. Okay, Gareth Williams, and Simpson. Okay, so I think that's it. I think we went through the whole passage. I think I can't find anything else. So the reason why I do it like this is because to me, it's easier to find all of the names at the beginning. So I immediately know we have names in this paragraph, we have names in this paragraph, we have names in this paragraph, and then we have one name here, and that's it. And I don't have to think about where else can I find the names. I only have to look in these paragraphs to find the names. So to me, this is much easier to do it this way. Now, let's look at the questions. So my order is names, questions, names, questions, text. Names, questions, text. That's how I do it. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Here we go. We have 4 different statements, and we have 3 different names, which means that one of the names will be 2 times. Lindsay, Gareth, Ruth. I think in almost all situations, you will have each at least 1 time. They will never have like, AABB. It will always be AABC or ABBC, whatever, anything like that. Okay, here we go. First question. The Vikings were aware of the financial benefits of staying in Ireland. Okay, so this is going to be, once again, I'm going to underline the keywords. Vikings were aware of the financial benefits. So the first question, question 20, is about financial benefits, money. It's basically going to be talking about, did the Vikings know they will earn money? Let's look at 21. Written accounts reporting when the Vikings arrived in Ireland may not be accurate. Okay, this is going to be about written accounts, and it's going to be about the accuracy. May not be accurate. So maybe the written accounts were not very accurate. I think that's what it'll be about. Inconsistency in sets of data came as a surprise. Okay, so inconsistency was surprising. I always just write down the main ideas of each question before I begin. It may be the case that the archaeological evidence gathered so far is being affected by geological factors. Okay, this question is going to give me brain cancer. Once again, I'm going to break it down. It may be the case that the archaeological evidence affected by geological factors. Okay, let's keep it like that. I don't want to think about that. I will just write that down, and then I'll move on. I'll think about it later. Let's move on. Let's move back to question 20. The Vikings were aware of the financial benefits of staying in Ireland. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all of the statements. So this is statement 1, this is statement 2, this is statement 3, this is statement 4, 5, 6 different places where I could potentially find one of these answers. I will go through each place and I will analyze. Is this more similar to 1, to 2, to 3, or to 4? So that's how I do it. Let's check. The archaeologist, also, by the way, match each statement with the correct expert. So basically, we are looking at quotations or their idea. Like, for example, if we look at this right here, Gareth Williams, says expert Gareth Williams. You can see most researchers, etc., 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 that's not important. You can see that this is specifically what he said. These are his own words. This is what he said directly because you can find the quotations. If we actually zoom out and we go back, Gareth Williams, wealth mathematician and junior analyst. That's kind of strange. Gareth Williams, Vikings. I wonder if this is a real passage. Sorry, a real person. Yeah, look, so as you can see, Gareth Williams, this is a real person, and this is what he really said. When you read all of these names in the passage, these are real people. These are not just like rands that were created. These are real people that exist. So these are specifically the words that he said. In another universe, we could maybe have a passage about Newton, and we could have a quote that Newton said, or Thomas Edison, or Nikola Tesla. I think actually one of my passages was about this. So make sure to select those quotations specifically. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to the first one. The archaeologist Lindsay Simpson sent the remains for analysis. The test showed men had been buried for years or even decades. Okay, so in this paragraph, I cannot find Lindsay Simpson saying anything. I don't think she says anything in this paragraph, so I'm going to move on. Let's look at Gareth Williams. Most researchers accept now that the raids were not the first contact as the old text suggests. How did the Vikings know where all those monasteries were? It's because there was already contact. They were already trading before those raids happened. So very clearly, you can see right here, most researchers accept, this is the answer right here. Most researchers accept now It's because there was already contact. So this is the answer. Gareth Williams said, one second, written accounts reporting when the Vikings arrived in Ireland may not be accurate. So in my opinion, this is going to be B. I think this is B, but here is something very important. With these question types, I never write down my first answer exactly. My first answer is always a guess. Second answer, third answer, all of them are guesses until I can finish writing down all of them. First, I will select all of the places, I will make a guess, and then only after I finish guessing for everything, I will go through the list once again, and I will select the final answer for each one. Okay, let's move on. Here we go. Gareth Williams is 21, in my opinion. Let's continue. Identified by Simpson, differ only a few decades. According to scientist Ruth Johnson, the Vikings started with sporadic summer raids, but after some years of profitable plunder, they decided to stay and build settlements in the winter. Okay, so this is also something that is said, not directly, but it's something they said. The Vikings started with sporadic summer raids, but after some years of profitable plunder, I'm sorry, I don't know how to read. My reading abilities are non-existent. Like, I can see the words on the page much faster than I can say them, so it's easier to read myself than to, like, read it out loud. Okay. The Vikings started with sporadic summer raids, but after some years of profitable plunder, they decided to stay and build settlements for the winter. The Vikings were aware of the financial benefits of staying in Ireland. To me, it seems like this is going to be C. This is not my final answer. This is only what I think. So I'm going to write C, and then we're going to come back to this. The reason is because the Vikings started with sporadic summer raids after some years of profitable plunder. So to me, it's because of the word profitable plunder, and then they decided to stay. So staying and profitable plunder. It could be that this is not correct because it's not always about finding the synonyms. This is not the correct answer because of the synonyms. To me, it seems like it's the same, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. It's not always like that. Okay, let's move on. Inconsistency in sets of data came as a surprise. Let's check. Carbon dating gives a likely range, etc., etc. In case the four Simpson found the two of them had died. The most likely range, third individual, the dates were not. Okay, here we go. And here is what Simpson said. This is, once again, Homer Simpson, our best friend, helping us with our IELTS reading passage. The dates were not what Simpson had thought they would be. And here's what Simpson said. These dates seem impossibly early and difficult to reconcile. Reconcile means connect. With the available historical and archaeological sources, she says. I think very clearly this is going to be 22, so 22 is A. Let's underline it. These dates seem impossibly early. Impossibly early is our answer. And also, the dates were not what Simpson had thought they would be. This is a very long synonym for the word surprise. Came as a surprise and inconsistency. So these two things are the keywords that we're looking for. The dates were not what Simpson had thought they would be is surprise. Inconsistency is the dates were impossibly early. Okay, perfect. Let's move on to the final one. We now have 23. As you can see, this one is the most easy one. It's really fast. All you have to do is you have to select all of the places, and then after that, you just go through all the places and you check them, and that's it. It's so simple. I think anybody could get 4 out of 4 with this question type. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to do anything difficult. This is the easiest one, in my opinion. Okay. The evidence earlier than expected Viking, based on its forensics, may seem slight. Booga booga, booga booga. I don't want to read this. This is not important. I'm going to find the quotation. There are 2 possibilities raised by Simpson's work. Okay, this is something that was said by Williams. There are two possibilities raised by Simpson's work. Either there were Viking activities earlier, or there's something in the water or soil. Googa booga. Nevertheless, Williams agrees with Simpson and others that the archaeology of the Viking presence in Ireland is uncertain, and there were possibly trading or raiding. Okay, it's a poorly documented part of history. Okay, this is another thing said specifically by Williams. But before there was Viking settlement, there was this big trading zone in the North Sea. Did it extend to the Irish Sea? We don't have evidence, but it could just be a question of time. This is also a direct quotation from Williams. So we have a lot of things that Williams said. 99% chance is that this was said by Williams. Let's check with the correct expert. Match with the correct expert. It may be the case that the archaeological evidence is being affected by geological factors. Okay, geological factors. We're looking for the words geological factors. Water or soil. Perfect. Here we go. Water or soil is geological factors. Skewing the data means being affected. Here we go. Perfect. That's it. So we found it. Williams adds. Perfect. That's it. So we found the answer. This is going to be Williams, which means it's B. In a lot of situations, the things that we guess will be correct, but it's a good idea to not be 100% certain. Because if you are not correct, then at least you had a chance to be correct. If you make a 100% guess, then if it's wrong, you're just wrong, and that's it. Okay, let's go through it. Archaeological evidence is being affected by geological factors. Water or soil, this is geological factors, and archaeological evidence is being affected. So this is B. I think this is almost 100% B. I'm very clear about this. Inconsistency in sets of data came as a surprise. Let's check that. The dates were not what Simpson had thought they would be. The dates seem impossibly early. Okay, to me this seems 100% like it's A. I think this is 100% correct. Okay, this is Lindsay Simpson. It's also a good idea to check the names one more time, because I've seen a lot of this has happened to my students very often, where they check the names and it turns out that they made a mistake with just the name. They found the correct answer, but they didn't write the correct letter. So it's a good idea to check that as well. Okay, next one. Most researchers, it's because there was already contact. Written accounts reporting the Vikings may not be accurate. The Vikings were aware of the financial benefits of staying in Ireland. Right here, Ruth Johnson, that's C. I am 99% sure about this. C is Ruth Johnson. Yeah, Ruth Johnson, C, this is about money. And then B is about, once again, Ruth Williams. Gareth Williams. It's about the already contact, because there is the written accounts were not accurate. Let's check again. Yeah, as the old texts suggest. Old texts is a synonym of written accounts, which is why we know that this is 100% B. So here we have our answers, C, B, A, B. Ladies and gentlemen, write in the chat, was this difficult to do or not? What do you think? Do you think this is a difficult question type or not? What do you think, Jahangir?
I'd say this was like relatively easier than other passages I've done today. There were definitely some really difficult ones, but this was quite an interesting one, plus not that difficult. I guess, yeah. But again, it's based on my own personal experience. I'm not sure how students are going to respond. Yeah.
Jahangir, the reason why it's not difficult, and that's what it seems like to you, is because I'm explaining everything, and my IQ is 20,000, and that's why it seems so easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. There are some vocabulary problems, but here's what I really like. In a lot of situations, the vocabulary is simple where the answer is. There is a lot of unnecessary vocabulary, like, for example, calamitous invasion. That's like a really difficult vocab word. But in 99% of situations, that is not going to be where you find the answer. The answer will never be in a place with such difficult vocabulary, because they are not trying to make it that difficult. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We did questions 20 to 28. Now we're going to move on to the most difficult question type. And here's what I want you to notice. Look at this, right? So in order to do matching headings, you have to read the whole text. This passage right here, this passage, we already finished reading it. We read it at the very beginning. This passage, we already this passage, we already finished reading it. This passage, and this passage right here, we already finished reading each of them. We went through all the text, and we know roughly what kind of information is there. We already understand the structure of the paragraph, and it's much easier for us to do this question type. This is why I always do matching headings last. I think it's much easier because you now have an easy way to approach the headings. So here's what we're going to do. When I do matching headings, I go through the headings first because I already know what is in the passage, and I'm going to underline what each heading is about. A possible genetic link between the Vikings and the Irish. We're going to be talking about a possible genetic link. An assumed similarity with previous discoveries. This is going to be assumed similarity. The need for additional data. Okay, additional data. I think this one's not going to be there. An insight into the lifestyle of a particular Viking. This is going to be one person, and it's going to be about their lifestyle. Doubts about the truth of historical documents. This is about doubts and historical documents. A research technique providing unexpected information. So this is going to be about specific research technique, one of them, and the information should be unexpected. The locations particular Vikings grew up. So locations and grew up. A decision to remain in Ireland for longer periods. Okay, a decision and remain. And longer periods too. So these are all the keywords. These are the things that we are looking for. And I'm going to give you guys a little secret. 99, okay, maybe that's too much. 90% of headings you can find in the first two sentences. If you don't feel confident, you can continue reading the paragraph. But when you're doing when you are doing matching headings, almost always, 90% of situations, 80 or 90, you're going to find the heading in the topic sentence. So let's begin. Let's get right into it. We're going to go paragraph by paragraph and try to match what they're about. I already have one guess, though, so I'm going to do that first. My guess is a decision to remain in Ireland for longer periods. I think that's going to be about this. I think this is paragraph B. So scholars are continuing to examine the texts written by monks. How did the Vikings know? One second. No, this paragraph. They decided to stay and build settlements for the winter. I think this is going to be that paragraph, a decision to remain in Ireland for longer periods. So let's check. Although the earlier dates for Viking presence have been identified by Simpson and independent archaeologists. What? Although the earlier dates for a Viking presence in Dublin that have been identified by Simpson and independent archaeologists differ from the later dates by only a few decades, when combined with other evidence, they are challenging the chronology of Viking settlement in Ireland. Okay, to me, this seems more like this. One sec. Question mark? Question mark? Confusion. This is why I do headings last, because even for me, headings can be difficult. You have to read the text, and you have to understand the gist. You are not looking for details. Right now, we're trying our best to understand, what are they saying? What is this about? And right now I have no idea. I feel like I'm starting to get brain cancer. I'm developing some kind of problem in here because it's confusing, and you don't have to beat yourself up. Don't feel like it's your fault. These texts are just really difficult. They're difficult for everybody. So we're just going to try our best to get the correct answer. Okay, let's go back to this in a moment. Let's look at the example. Section A, this one right here, is going to be answer 2. The assumed similarity with previous discoveries. So what we're going to do is this. I'm going to cross this out. Okay. This we do not have to look at anymore. Oh, nope. We don't have to look at this anymore. This is not important. I'm going to remove the highlight. Okay. So 2 is not important. Let's look at section B. Simpson's findings are now adding new weight to an idea gaining growing acceptance. The idea of a sudden calamitous invasion. The arrival of the Vikings in Ireland started with small-scale settlements and trade links connecting Ireland with Northern Europe. I think there's some kind of grammar mistake there, but that's okay. Okay, first part of the sentence, let's highlight it. And further, that those trading contacts may have occurred generations before the violent raids described in contemporary texts. Works written by monks living in isolated monasteries. Okay, perfect. So this is the same paragraph. This is about the time when the people came. Instead of a sudden invasion, the arrival started with small-scale settlements. Okay. Instead of a sudden invasion, I'm going to select this. The arrival of the Vikings in Ireland started with small-scale settlements. Okay, let's check. Possible links between Vikings and Irish? No. Need for additional data? No. Insight into the lifestyle? No. Doubts about so. Research technique providing unexpected information? I don't think so. The location particular Vikings grew up? I don't think so. Decision to remain in Ireland for longer periods? Good question. What do you think, Jahangir? What do you think this one will be?
I have no idea. I haven't been following you. I just was listening to some tips, trying to catch some tips. I have no idea, brother. But I
Me
do it in a
neither.
different way. I'll tell you, I do it in a different way. I can tell you what I do when I do this heading.
Sure, tell me. I want to know. I want to know what you do.
Okay. One of the things that I've noticed is that the answer, yes, correct answer is usually one of the paraphrased sentences. Is one of the sentences paraphrased, but it's not always the case. Sometimes it happens. So one of the things is I try to find that, but I usually do it at the end. So what I do, okay, first read the paragraph. I read the paragraph. Two, as you did when I read the list of headings, Alex. When I read the list of headings, as you do, I highlight the key words. Okay, highlight the key words in the list of headings. 3, after highlighting the key words in the list of headings and reading the paragraph, I go back to the list of headings, Alex, and I try to find a word in the answer that's not mentioned in the paragraph. So even if a single word in one given title is not mentioned in the paragraph, that's not the answer. 100% not the answer. It's like enough even one single word. So let's imagine there is, let's say there is heading number 9. Alex, imagine it's about financial decisions of the Vikings. So you clearly see that the word financial is not mentioned in paragraph B, right? Nothing about money, right? Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, just imagine that there is 9th option, because right now we have only 8 options in the list of headings. Imagine there is 9th one, and it says financial decisions made by Vikings. But you see that in paragraph B, there is nothing about finances. There is nothing about money. So I cross out the word financial in this case, and cross out the option itself. So it's no longer suitable for me for this paragraph. So I get rid of the unsuitable options first by crossing out all the words that are not mentioned. And then, if there are 2 or 3 options left, what I do is that I try to find the difference between a detail and the main idea. I guess this, like at the end, comes down to your level of English, like how many you know your vocabulary. I think for that you need to have like advanced vocabulary at least, because it's usually passage 2 and 3 that have headings. And yeah, that's what I do. My approach.
That's fair. That's a very interesting approach. I think I'll try it out sometime. But for right now, I'm gonna try my best to go through this text and finish with the headings. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Okay, let's get to it. I'm gonna continue explaining. Thank you once again, Jahangir. Yeah, we're gonna continue. Okay, I'm gonna go from the bottom because I'm a bit confused by the passages at the beginning. The evidence of an earlier than expected Viking presence based as it is on. This is a mistake because of the transcription. Forensics tests conducted on a handful of burials may seem slight, but seemingly small pieces of evidence can overturn well-established conventions in archaeology. Okay, forensics tests. To me, forensics tests is connected to this right here. Research technique provided unexpected information. So now I'm going to have to find the word unexpected. overturn well-established conventions. To me, it seems like that's connected to unexpected information. I'm not sure. Let's check. Both stress more excavations will be needed before anyone can rewrite the history, as such work is years away. Okay. Providing unexpected information. I think that passage G is going to be VI. Once again, I'm going to write it in parentheses because this is not my final answer. This is just my first idea. So I'm going to do this right here. I'm going to cross that out. As you can see, we found the first answer in the answer in the first two sentences, or one sentence, two sentences. Let's look at F. Tests were also carried out men's isotopic oxygen levels. Such tests indicate whether a person spent their childhood developing teeth. The two men spent their childhood in Scandinavia. Okay, so spent their childhood in Scandinavia. There's two options. Right here we are talking about 4 South George Street's men. So these men, this means that we're either going to talk about particular Vikings. It's most likely this. It's either this or this. I think it's most likely this. The locations particular Vikings grew up. So F is going to be VII. Once again, we found the answer in the first 2-3 sentences. Here, unfortunately, it's a little bit further in the paragraph.
Alex,
Okay.
I'll be back in a second, okay?
You're going to be back?
Yeah, a second.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, I'm going to cross this out. Once again, VII is right here. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not good at reading Roman numerals. I don't know Roman letters that well. I know that V is 5, but for me it's easier to just say III, IV, V, VII. It's easier for me, so that's why I do it like that. Okay, the fourth individual excavated at the da-da-da-da street was the most intact. So immediately I remember this is the particular Viking. This is the fourth Viking. We did a full question type about this Viking, which means that, in my opinion, this is most likely going to be this right here. So it's much easier to do this. IV. That's the IV. IV. Okay, so that's pretty easy. We're going to move on to the next one. D. So as you can see, I was really struggling to go from top to bottom because I couldn't find anything that gave me a clear answer. So I just went from the bottom up, and it became much easier. Remember that you don't have to struggle with difficult questions. Begin by doing the ones that are easier first, and then it'll be much easier to do the rest of the passage after that. Carbon dating, which measures the age of organic materials based on something, usually gives a range of likely dates. The older the material, the wider the range. Okay, we'll come back to this. In case of the 4, Simpson found that 2 of them had a probability. I have a feeling this is going to be about this, but I'm not sure. Of having died, and a percent occurring between this. Thus, the entire most likely range before the first arrival in 1795. Third individual. The dates were not what Simpson had thought they would be. The dates seemed impossibly early and difficult to reconcile. Okay. This VI, I actually think this could also be VI. So to me, this seems more like VI than the other one. I will write this down. As I said, these are my guesses. So I'm going to go back and check them once everything is done. Doubts about the truth, decision to remain in Ireland, possible genetic link between Vikings and the Irish. Okay, this has nothing about genetics, right? This says nothing about genetics. Okay, let's move on to C. Although the earlier dates have been identified by Simpson, differ from the later dates by only a few decades. When combined with other events, they are challenging the chronology of Viking settlement in Ireland. Challenging the chronology that lay under the sidewalks. Okay. Decided to build settlements for the winter. To me, this seems like a detail and not like the main idea of the paragraph. So I don't think that C is going to be about. I don't think that C is going to be about VIII. I'm not sure. I will write it down because I feel like it's easier to just make a guess and then move on. But I'm not sure. I don't think that's what it is. Okay, and lastly, B. Simpson's finding are adding weight to a new idea, gaining growing acceptance. The idea that instead of sudden invasion, started as small-scale settlements, and further, those trading contracts may have occurred generations before the violent raids. Okay. Contemporary texts, works written by monks, monasteries. Okay, I don't know why it says contemporary. Contemporary means new, right? Contemporary. Living or occurring at that time, at the same time. So this can actually be, okay, perfect. So this is, B is 100% going to be 5. So I know this one 100%. I'm going to remove the highlights. This is going to be 5 is B. Okay, perfect. V. Okay, here we go. Perfect. So this one I am 100% sure about. I'm going to underline it. This one I'm 100% sure about, I think. No, I'm not 100% sure about that one. Okay, let's go back. So now I have all of my guesses. These are my first main ideas. Let's go back to question 19. Question 19 is, I said it's VI. VI, a research technique providing unexpected information. The evidence of earlier than expected Viking presence in Ireland, based as it is on forensic tests conducted on a handful of burials, might seem slight, but seemingly small pieces of evidence can overturn well-established conventions. Both Simpson and Johnson stress more excavations and tests will be needed. Okay, here we go. These people stress more excavations and tests will be needed. And then the rest of the paragraph, they're talking about the fact that they don't know. Perfect. So VI is going to be the need for additional data. Ladies and gentlemen, we got them. We found it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I. Okay, this one we know 100%. Let's continue. So as you can see, when I cross out the rest of the answers, I know the ones that are good and the ones that are not good. And I know the ones that are realistic and the ones that are not so much. Tests were carried out, isotopic oxygen levels, persons spent their childhood developing teeth. The two men spent their childhood in Scandinavia. So the answer is VII. Locations, Vikings grew up. Particular Vikings means those 2 or 4 Vikings. So VII seems like the good answer. Jahangir, we're almost done. Do you have the answers ready? Okay, I think Jahangir is going to come back after a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, section E is going to be...
I'm here. I forgot to switch on the mic.
Okay, perfect. Are the answers ready? You got them?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So let's go through once again. Don't show them yet. Not yet. Wait, we're almost done. Section E is going to be IV, fourth individual. So this is the specific person we're
The
talking
answers
about.
are 14, 17, 18. The sum. Go on.
Okay. Yeah. So this one is IV. We know that. Insight into the lifestyle of a particular Viking, specific one Viking. Next, 16 D. Carbon dating, which measures, so this is, we're talking about this specific type of research, carbon dating, and we are making a new idea. The dates are not clear. We don't know. What if the texts from the past are not correct? So this is the VI. Unexpected information. There we go. That's something that we were not sure about. So what they had not thought it would be. So not sure about, unexpected information, synonym of surprise, as we talked about before. VI 100%, and lastly VIII. Combined with the other evidence, they are challenging the chronology of Viking settlements, and we also have this word right here. Sorry, not we're doing C. Decision to remain in Ireland for longer periods. I'm not sure about this one. I'm not sure about this one actually. One sec. The only option left is a possible genetic link between Vikings and Irish. I don't know. But because here it says they built settlements for the winter, I think this is going to be about the VIII, this one, decision to remain in Ireland. I don't know, so I'm still 50-50 about this. So I don't know 100%. I'm still going to write this down as my final answer, but I'm not sure. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Let me submit my answers. Let me write them real quick. Give me a second. Here we go. One passage. How long did that take?
Can you compare? You can see that I've already written all of your answers. You've
All
selected
of my answers?
Yeah, you can open the channel. Just check if I copy pasted everything correctly.
Jahangir, you're a legend. Okay, let's check. 15. 5 86476. Oh, those are the numbers. Okay. CBAB, standards, torso, childhood, spine, weapons. Okay, let's see if anybody thinks there are any mistakes. Just perfect. Probably yes. I think very realistically, this one could be a mistake. I could also make one of these could be a mistake, but also I don't feel like it is, but it is possible. Okay, let's check. Here we go. 5, 8, 6, 4, 7, 19 is 3, Jahangir. 19 is 3. Okay. Next is CBAB, correct? And then lastly, standards, torso, childhood, spine, weapons. Yeah, that's it. Okay. We're finished. What do you think? Sorry, what are the answers? Tell me. I want to know.
So basically, all of them are correct.
Yes. Are you sure?
But I would like you to explain. Now, I would like you to tell me which ones you had doubts choosing and why, if possible. I'd really appreciate it.
Which ones I had doubt choosing?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as I said, especially with these question types, like the question types where you have to choose more than one option at the same time, like for example, CBAB, this question type, and also this question type, I always doubt what the answer is until I finish writing down all of the answers first. So, for example, with this question type, I need to get all of my guesses on the paper first, and then after that, I can tell you the final answers. So I don't really have any doubts with this one right here. I went through the whole text. It was quite simple, and I found all the answers. This one was easy, no doubts. This one was a little bit more difficult, but still no doubts because the wording is very clear for this passage.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one, especially with this question type, I had a little bit of doubt because the text was not 100% the same. What?
Like which 2 or 3 options you were going to choose for C?
I was either going to say VII, decision to remain in Ireland, or it could be one of these. Research technique or doubts about the truth. These two are very similar. Unexpected information and doubts about the truths. This is basically something about like research or some kind of new information. So these two are quite similar. So because of that, I had some trouble kind of choosing the similarity between them. So these 3 options all seemed like they could potentially be correct for paragraph C.
But yeah, but yours is actually correct, yeah?
Yeah, it's true because I'm a genius. 10,000 IQ. See, it looked easy. I finished it in 5 minutes, actually. Don't look at the time. It's actually 7:15 right now. We just finished, so we still have some time.
Yeah, good job. I mean, Alex, you did a much better job explaining all of the questions than the other teachers before.
Actually,
I'm not bad. I guess it probably also depends on the type of passage you give them to do. That might be the reason, but overall your performance was actually outstanding. Yeah, especially
did anybody else? Be honest. Did anybody else make any mistakes with their answers? Be honest.
I don't think anybody here did it while you were doing it. I think they were listening to you.
No, I mean, like from the other teachers, did they make any mistakes or not?
Yeah, I mean there were one I think at most they made one mistake only.
They made one mistake. Look at me, I made 0 mistake.
Because you're 0, Esama.
No! This is the only 0 you're gonna look at, Jahongir. Get ready. Boo, boo. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, that was nice. That was fun. Thank you, Jahongir, for having me on your channel once again. You are a true man after my own heart. Making other people work for you and teach instead of you, that's the best thing you can do. 10,000 IQ.
You got it. Yes, you got it. What do they say in the US? You know the shit.
That is what they say. That's true. I also really like that the people who have 9, you wrote their name like Jorabek Samakulov 9. Like for each 9er, you wrote 9.
It's like reading, like the reading part. I wanted the guys to know about it because I actually at the beginning wanted to say just 9 in front of the 9ers, because my thinking process was like there were some low profile figures, and I wanted a little bit. I wanted like a little bit of hype around them, no me about them, because I knew that if I just write down, for example, I don't know, like some Niner name without anything, I don't think anybody would be hyped up as much as they are right now. Then I got a little bit of criticism, and I was like, sure, then I'll try to include everybody's scores. But then there is discrepancy in the score, overall score, because there are people with an 8 and there was a 9. And again, that a dilemma in my head, and I was like, let's include the reading scores then. I think that would be the easiest escape. So 999, 8.5. Yeah, that's what I did.
All
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
Well,
it's
I'm tired.
to please.
My head hurts. I'm gonna go get some rest. Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you, Jahangir.
Thank you, Alex, for accepting my offer. And again, I hope to have many of these beautiful live sessions with you in the future. If there is anything you're doing on your channel, I'd be more than happy to promote and to help you out, maybe, by featuring in one of your live sessions. And it's really, 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 I'm really glad to see you back on your channel, like being active again. So it's
Thanks, man.
incredible. Keep it up, man. Wish you good luck, all the best. Thank you. See you guys.
Bye bye.